Hello, everyone. Good day, good afternoon, good evening to you all, wherever you may be. You're welcome to the BIM Africa BIM Talk. This is a pre-series. It's an online series before our BIM Africa Summit holding in Morocco in Marrakesh in May. And so we decided to bring interesting topics and interesting themes to the fore through a series of speakers, a series of topics, interesting topics, to ensure that we can all learn and explore very interesting ideas before the BIM Africa Summit, which will be holding in Marrakesh in May, on May 18 and 19 of this year, 2023. And so for this month, we'll be having Kehinde Ayobade present on extending BIM tools, automation, APIs, custom plugins, and database. Kehinde will be doing an interesting theme, and he will be exploring how we can stretch our BIM tools further to achieve the capacities that we require. He'll be introducing himself now and taking up on the session. After the session, there will be a question and answers period. So please take note of all of your questions and get ready to ask after his presentation. Thank you. Kehinde, you can please present now.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for having me. It's a privilege to be here this afternoon, sharing knowledge. And I think I just have to run with time because I have a number of slides that I have slides that are kind of huge in number. Okay, so basically, let me introduce myself. I have a background in civil engineering, structural engineer by profession. Recently, I moved into software development and also moved into database management and some other tech skills. One of the things that informed me moving into this aspect of engineering and this aspect of this industry is because I feel there's so much to explore. There's so much Africa can give to the world, and I think we need to start taking steps towards that. So I feel that's why I went into automation, into plugin development, and so many other tech skills. So quickly into what we'll be having today. We're going to be discussing about extending BIM tools. So one of the major reasons why I picked this topic is because I saw that I've been experiencing a lot of personalities, professionals deploying BIM in a very basic way. So we've been using BIM in a very standardized manner. There are different and various ways we can actually deploy tools that helps us. How we can use automation APIs, custom plugins, and databases to extend our BIM tools. Now, what to expect? We're going to look at BIM overview, what BIM is, definition of BIM, the industry's adoption. We're going to talk about automation. We're going to talk about APIs, definitions, and benefits. We're also going to talk about BIM tools. We're going to explore a number of BIM tools with APIs that have APIs available on the web. We'll also look at databases, how we can extend our BIM tools, connecting them to databases, keeping our saving up our BIM data on database platforms. Also, I'm going to do a small demonstration of a plugin I built for this presentation. And also I'll share a roadmap on anyone who wants to commence this journey into BIM development. And I'm going to give you a brief conclusion of the topic of discussion this afternoon. All right, so for introduction, every BIM tool, every BIM software developed with one limitation or the other. We have so many wide range of tools, BIM tools all over the industry that helps us to deploy BIM on our projects irrespective of the profession. Well, however, these tools were not developed to meet every of our needs. Basically, or mostly, let's say 80% of our design needs, our construction needs. For can't actually meet every of the needs. So it's very important to extend them to meet, to achieve or to carry out certain tasks that we can't do with them. So the basis of everything we'll be discussing this afternoon will be how it's possible, all the possibilities in extending BIM tools. All right, so we're briefly going to look at the definition of BIM. So I think BIM is not it's very popular now in the industry. Everybody knows what BIM is all about. Yeah, I took this definition from the web. It's a process that involves creating and managing the digital representations of buildings and other built structures, and as well managing the quality of information shared across projects and stakeholders. So that's basically the definition of BIM. Many of us know BIM to be many things. BIM can mean so much to everyone. There could be different meaning to BIM, but the most important aspects of BIM are the processes and standards, and the engines that facilitate BIM, which are the tools, software that we use, and also the professionals deploying BIM. So everything on this list, all of these necessities plays a major role in actually extending the possibilities of BIM and its tools. So if you have to look at the rate of adoption in Africa, how BIM has been moving in Africa, is it something really? Is it something that the whole of Africa is deploying, or is it something all of Africa has embraced? So from my own research, I believe that Africa has lower rate of adoption compared to other European countries and other countries in Europe, for example, and North America, so many other continents of the world. However, countries like South Africa, Egypt, and Nigeria are actually moving the needle when it comes to BIM adoption. So based on metrics, I would say in Africa, there's been like 20% collaboration rates, which measures the extent to which stakeholders are able to collaborate, how much information is being shared between stakeholders and professionals using BIM technologies. So also 30% of maturity levels. So this measures actually the extent to which an organization has adopted BIM and is able to fully utilize its capabilities. Also a 50% adoption rate, which measures the extent to which projects are executed using BIM technologies. So this is actually my own research. It's not a basis for concluding how BIM is adopted in Africa. It's just based on my research, my experience with professionals and companies that deploy BIM. So why do we extend BIM tools? Why do we need to extend BIM tools? Basically, one, like I mentioned earlier, the limitation of softwares. Softwares can meet all of your needs. If you are an architect or a structural engineer, whatever profession you are, you have tools that pertain to the profession that you are in. But these tools can't meet every of the needs. One way or the other, you have to combine so many of these tools, so many softwares together, many BIM tools together to meet a certain need in design or whatever, possibly construction. So that's one big reason why we need to extend to the limitation of softwares. And also there are certain problems that can be solved with out of the box tools. When I mean out of the box tools, those are the tools that all functionalities that come with softwares by default. So those functionalities might not be able to meet or solve complex problems. So how do we meet the problems? We need to look for ways to extend the capabilities and functionalities of BIM software. So also we need to save time. Most of these tools come with the propensity to work manually. So most of the things you do will be manual, which will take a lot of time. But we extend to BIM tools because we really want to save time. We can save up to 80% of design time, 80% of construction, 20% of construction time, deploying additional functionalities or introducing additional functionalities to BIM tools. Also, there are also companies, there are professionals that use certain standards and methods, that customize standards and methods for the offices and their profession. and BIM tools might not be able to provide that. So for you to get custom tools, custom standards which pertains to your firm or company, you have to one way or the other customize these tools. All right, so we are going to quickly look at the ways to extend BIM tools. There's many ways to extend BIM tools. One of which is software integration, which involves like integrating other softwares, other systems into, for example, a particular BIM tool you know. For example, let me use ArchiCAD, for example. ArchiCAD is a software that does BIM authoring and BIM modeling. So if you want to bring in scheduling, you want to do cost estimation, you might need to integrate other systems, which is one of the ways to extend BIM tools. Another way is using developing plugins and add-ons. And this way you can extend the functionality of BIM tools. Another way is customization, like customizing the out-of-the-box tools, creating custom families, custom libraries to meet certain project needs. And also you can also advance visualizations and develop advanced visualizations of your BIM models and the likes using virtual reality, augmented reality. That is the way to extend BIM tools. That's the way to extend capabilities of BIM, functionalities of BIM. And now, which is data analysis, which basically involves extracting insights from BIM data. So these are the ways, amongst others, which I also have here. IoT integration, that's Internet of Things, can also monitor the building performance. It's one way to extend BIM tools. Cloud collaboration and mobile app integration, artificial intelligence, machine learning. Yeah, the various ways we can extend BIM tools. So now for this our presentation today, it's basically I'm going to be focusing on these three: automation, APIs, and plugins. So let's move further. Automation basically talks about writing program algorithms. API is about leveraging the backend documentation of softwares so that you can connect with other softwares. Plugins is more like building an extra layer of functionality as custom applications and add-ons over existing software. So now let's portray more of automation. So let's look at the definition of automation. From here, I wrote here, automation in BIM refers to the use of technology and software tools to automate repetitive or time-consuming tasks. From the word automate, we are trying to cut down time. We are trying to bring in efficiency. So you want to save time, you want to save cost. So that's what automation is all about. So some of the tasks, time-consuming tasks we might tend to experience while deploying BIM is data entry, model updates, and class detection, and many more redundant tasks in the whole BIM process. So there are certain popular industrial automation tools, one of which is Grasshopper. So I have a link that would lead us to, I don't know if you can see my website. Hopefully, I believe this content will be shared, this PowerPoint will be shared amongst, also we could use the resources in it. So I have links attached to them where we could locate where to download, where to learn about them and the likes. So these are popular industry tools. For example, Grasshopper does visual and textual programming, so does parametric modeling, complex modeling of complex shapes and forms. Dynamo does something similar to, and does visual and textual programming and parametric modeling also. So that of PyRevit. PyRevit is it's basically a textual scripting tool used to automate it. So it's built with the Python programming language, and it's hosted on Revit. And macros, there are certain softwares, BIM softwares that have inbuilt macros, inbuilt programming tool that you don't have to connect any external programming tool to. For example, if I use for example, the Excel manager has an inbuilt programming tool. It's called an API console, where you can just write in your codes inside of the software. Any other software like Revit, Grasshopper also has it, Dynamo has it also. So they are macros inbuilt programming language is compatible with them to BIM tools in real time. So now, what are the benefits and use cases in BIM? For when we are talking about automation, what are the benefits? One of the benefits here is efficiency. So what does efficiency really mean? It talks about killing excess time spent on carrying out repetitive tasks. It also reduce human error. That's man error. It takes away human errors completely, almost 100% of it anyways. And also collaboration. Automation actually improve collaboration between professionals, stakeholders, and even in design and construction. Also, now APIs. I think we are done with automation. I'm trying to run fast because I have a huge number of slides here. So APIs. Now, I think I'll slow down a bit here so we can understand. But this way, I'm going to be doing a brief demonstration. So an API is actually like from the acronym API, it means application programming interface. API is actually a set of rules and protocols that enables communication between different software systems, 2 different softwares, 3 different softwares, from different developers, from different software providers. It also gives the developers access to the functionality of a system or service in a very consistent way, so that they can be able to integrate various software components. They can be able to build on the functionality of softwares. So now, in summary, I think I have an illustration that will help us understand better what API is. An API is actually, for example, if there's an illustration here about a restaurant. You have a customer who comes into a restaurant that is asking for a drink. There's a waiter that brings a catalog of drinks to that customer. That waiter in this instance is actually the API. The customer in this case is like software A, or let's say just kitchen, or the restaurant in general is actually software B. The customer comes to a restaurant software B and is asking for something, for example, an information, asking for data, asking for in this case a drink. But the waiter comes in to connect the 2 of them. So that waiter is the API. So basically, an API is the connecting bridge between 2 different softwares. For a relatable illustration, for software we know, ArchiCAD, for example, requires or needs maybe geometric data from Revit, or possibly how do I put it, geometric data or other data that metadata, for example, from Revit. But there is no way to achieve that directly. So there has to be it has ArchiCAD would need to it can be able to get information from Revit. Form of interoperability between the 2 of them, between the 2 softwares. An API has to come in between them to bridge that communication gap. So now the benefits of APIs, we have integration that allows different BIM softwares to communicate with each other. Automation can be used to automate repetitive tasks in a BIM process and in BIM software. Can also access data through APIs, but it provides a consistent and predictable way to access BIM data. They are already set down rules and protocols to do that. So you can also customize your software, BIM software, by creating plugins or add-ons on top of how do I put it, on top of softwares. Now you can also carry out data security. Data security is possible. It helps you secure your BIM data by providing access controls and security measures. Now, let's explore BIM tools that have APIs, available APIs on the web. Let's start with BIM authoring tools. This first one here is ArchiCAD. ArchiCAD has online documentation. If I open this up, I believe my screen is visible. My screen is visible. Share. Yeah. Okay. Once I click on that link, this website comes up. So here you can actually get the information about how you can navigate through the API of ArchiCAD. Here you have a white paper where you get more information about what the API development it's all about, how you get it, but also get resources to learn from it, how to learn, learning how to navigate and learning how to work with the ArchiCAD API. So if I move to now, it requires like two basic programming languages. So every API has a programming language it deploys. For ArchiCAD API, uses C++ basically, and then Python for certain builds. If you want to like certain extensions, create extensions and the like, you can use this. There's also a need for Python programming language. So the two, if you want to learn each of them, the resource I would suggest basically is going to be this resource. Revit schools to choose how to learn many programming languages from start, and it's very easy to learn. It's free. So I think that's basically all about the API for ArchiCAD. So that of the other one we have here. Or 1 second. All right. We also have tech-class structures. Tech-class structures have online documentations. It's called the Open API. I think I need to quit my screen. So I want to be navigating through different screens. All right. Yeah. All right, so Tekla uses the C# programming language, and the resource for that, for this language is the same website, w3 schools, where you can learn how to code C#. Autodesk Revit also have API references online, and one of the API reference here is and you can find this here on the Revit API docs.com website. It has references for all Revit versions, and click on any of the versions and it's different references. If you want to learn how to navigate through the API, there's this resource online to learn how to create your first Revit plugin. It helps you to go through the plugin and the API from scratch. You understand your nitty-gritty. You understand all the classes, understand how you can communicate with the API using the programming language, which is basically there are 4 programming languages you can use over on top of the Revit API, which is the C#, C++, Basic, and Python. And the resources to learn this are here. I think I still suggested the same W3 schools. Okay, so let's move to coordination tools that have APIs in them. So one of the coordination tools here is Navisworks. Navisworks also has an online documentation for its API, where other softwares can communicate with. So the API reference is online for download. Just type in visit API-docs.com. You find the Navisworks guide, or you could download the the SDK, which is called the software development kit, that helps you to understand or help you to navigate through the API. That's a downloadable desktop app that has all the API references and documentations in there. That of the plugins, you can also create plugins for Navisworks, works with the C# programming language, and I also suggest the same resource to learn Python, which is W3 Schools. Now, Solibri is another coordination tool. Oh, sorry about the typos, to be Solibri. Solibri, yeah. It has API docs online. It's called they call it the API developer platform. It uses the what programming language now? It uses Java. This is Java. It has manuals which you can learn how to navigate through the API, and many other tools where you can learn how to build plugins and extensions or provide. The exam manager tool, which is another coordination tool, is also has APIs, has SDKs, that's software development kits. There are so many tutorials on YouTube for this particular software and its API, and it uses C# because it's built over the .NET framework, which is the popular Windows that we all know as the framework on which Windows apps and desktop apps are built on rather. So you will also learn C# via the W3 Schools. Visualization tools with API. So we have there are also visualization tools online that helps you to that has APIs that help you to communicate with other BIM tools. One of which is Unreal Engine. It has a reference online also, API reference online where you could learn how to navigate through the API, how to customize it. Apps you could learn how to work with the API with the example files they have here, examples and the samples there. They have they also have these samples and tutorials for plugins. Yes. Yeah, there are tools, there are videos on their website where you can learn how to, if you are someone passionate about visualization as an architect and you like to extend the possibilities, creating games, creating VR platforms, Unreal Engine API is one place to go to. It uses the C# programming language also, C++, Blueprint and Python. Blueprint is not a textual programming language, it's more like a visual programming language. Helps you that works more like Grasshopper and Dynamo. It has that. So if you don't want to learn the textual ones, you're scared, you can just use Blueprint. So the same platform. I think to learn Blueprint, there is a part of their website that provides that that possibility. So you could just visit their website, just type in Blueprints, you will find the resources. So okay, there are also collaboration tools. Checking my time. So, collaboration tools with APIs. For example, BIM 360 has APIs online. That's step-by-step tutorials where you can learn. You go to their web page. There's web page on this API docs. Yeah. So you have the documentation here online where you would see how you could learn how to work with the BIM 360 API, how you could create you can manage documents on the cloud, how you could access documents, access models and the likes, BIM models, and collaborate better. You could create custom tools over the BIM 360 using HTML and JavaScript. You could learn JavaScript and HTML from any web page. There are free platforms online to learn this programming languages. Another collaboration tool is BIMTrack. BIMTrack also has API documentations and software development kits online. It's called the O 2.0. That's what they call their API. And they also use REST APIs for Yeah, they also have a module for REST APIs, a kind of API that also integrates with their software. So you could also create plugins over BIM track, but it's built on the .NET framework, and it uses C#, also then C# from the resource I mentioned earlier. So quickly, let's look at databases. And databases, um, I think I need to be a bit simple here and explanatory. Databases and BIM, yeah. It all starts with the BIM model, because BIM is all about information and 3D models, physical representation and digital representation of physical assets. And these assets contain data that needs to be shared. It needs to be used to build, construct, and to operate a facility or an asset. So no, this BIM model contains this model data that needs to be saved, or that needs to be manipulated, that needs to be updated. And this data can come in form of the geometric property, or like the size of some of the let's say components in that asset. For example, if you're looking at building a wall, the component and the geometric information there could be the width of the wall, the length of the height of the wall. So this data are very, very much important, especially for construction or for operation of that asset. So, but for you to save this data reasonably and in a secure place, you need database systems. So these database systems or database management systems. These database management systems are kind of servers online, web servers on the net that helps you to host your data, whatever kind of it. Don't just BIM data, you can host any kind of data. Different industries utilize database management system. So there is also what we call relational database management system, able to query data. They are used to query data, they are used to update data. So in case you have a model that you need to like auto update model information. For example, you have walls and you want to increase the width of all the walls without having to do it one after the other. You could use this kind of database system. So you need information about a particular specific kind of wall, maybe a dry wall or something in the building. You could use relational database systems to query such kind of data after you've saved those data in this management system. So this data they also provide accessibility from anywhere around the world. It's not just you saving from your own office and then no one sees it. Everyone all over the world could access it if you give them or if you provide the login credentials and the likes. So because of this, you are sure of data security. Data is secured more, BIM data, asset data, facility data, especially for sensitive buildings like data centers. You don't just they don't just release information anyhow. So database management systems are platforms where you can secure your data, especially for now for database in action. We are looking at we look at relational database management systems. There are so many of them, so many of these kind of systems in the industry. Many industries use it especially for data analysis, data science, and the likes, or anything data. Any industry that does data, they use all this platform. For example, my SQL, which means SQL query language, is an open source relational database management system. It's mostly used for web-based applications. Oracle also has a database management system, and also Microsoft Access. SQL is a language that most of the management systems deploy, because it's open source and it's very free for use. Now, the SQL Server and BIM data. If you have to look and if you have to zoom into SQL and how it can benefit the BIM, the BIM space or data from the BIM model. It all starts with the BIM model, like I mentioned earlier on. So if you have to send data from a BIM model, a BIM platform to an SQL server or a SQL server, you need an API. Like I mentioned, an API is what helps you connect two different systems softwares together, because they contain certain protocols and rules that will help that possible, help you achieve that or make that possible. So that API then connects a BIM model or data to the SQL server. So that SQL server then provides you the ability to visualize the data, ability to analyze the data, ability to update the data if possible. So that's the connection between that happens between SQL server and BIM data and BIM model data. Now, looking at custom plugins. Now, like I mentioned, custom plugins are used to they are built over software to strengthen the functionality of software tools. Because most times you won't be able to achieve certain things, you may be able to do certain things manually, because they will definitely take time. So you need to automate certain things. And because of the provision of APIs by other softwares, and creates custom plugins that help you fast track some of the BIM processes that you carry out. So one of my own roadmap towards plugin development, how I journeyed through learning plugin development, I actually started understanding the tool, the BIM tool. So you can actually build custom plugins over a tool you don't know very well. For example, now Revit, for an example, is a BIM authoring tool, and most people use it for design, for architectural design, structural quantity survey, and the likes, costing and the like. So if you want to create a custom plugin over Revit, for example, you need to understand the nitty-gritties, the in and out of that software. But if you don't understand the in and out, it's very hard for you to understand the back end, which is the API of that software. So that is how I started the journey out to understand very well what happens to many parts of that software. So another thing was that I had to learn the required programming language. Like I mentioned, every API has its specific programming language that it was built with. Yeah, so I had to learn the certain programming languages so that I can be able to work with APIs of some of the software. Now, and also I had to learn from web resources how the API for those software works. So it's one thing to learn a programming language, another thing to understand how the API works. So you need to sit down with it and then, okay, I have the programming, I have the knowledge of this language, this programming language. Okay, how do I use this API? How do I use the rules? How do I use the protocols? How do I use all the objects inside of the API to create, for example, a plugin? How do I do that? So there are resources online on the web. Most of the times they are on the website of these software providers. So if you go to their website, you just type in API or the name of the software and put API behind it, you will always see a resource for you to learn how to go about. For example, Tekla Structures has a lot of examples for even starters. You don't even need to know how to program any language. You could just jump into your website and you learn how to work with the API and start developing plugins over Tekla Structures. So many of these other software providers have made provisions for this kind of things. So then you then follow, I think the D part here says follow web examples. There are examples online. There are examples on how to, for example, Revit has an example for my first Revit plugin. Learn how to like baby steps towards creating your first plugin. Most software providers have made this provision, especially on their website, on YouTube channel. So that's basically the roadmap to plugin development based on my experience. And I have a little bit plugin demonstration for us here, and just to show you the possibilities on how you can extend BIM tools, how you could make things work faster for you, how you could manage data, how you could work with databases. So let me quickly jump into that. The platform here I use for them is Revit. I use Revit as the base software, and programming language here was C#. C# is actually used to is the major programming language Autodesk uses to build most of their tools, because it's basically built on the .NET framework, and .NET framework is basically also built with C#. So now let's quickly jump into what we have. Okay. Let me share my screen again. Let's see. So I have here. All right, I think my screen is still visible. So there's this, I've been plugging with basically for this meeting. So with this plugin, you could visit the website of BIM Africa to know more about them and know more about what they do. To become a member, it takes you to their website where you could get a membership and go to join the membership platform. Also, you can also register for the upcoming star advancement of the built environment for sustainable Africa. Starting in Morocco. So I just did this sample just to show the possibility. This is Revit, and you could do all these kind of things inside of Revit. It's asking, would you like to register for the BIM Africa Summit happening live? Yes. Yeah, it takes you to the summit page where you would register, and the likes there. So this is what it could do. Can do rather. So also the innovation awards that's coming up. You could nominate your personalities and nominate yourself through your website, just a showcase anyway. And also the BIM talks for the past months that BIM Africa has been holding. I think I have the BIM talk there. Yeah. So that's basically it for this. And if I'm to show you the back end of this, okay? So the back end basically it all starts with coming up with the dialogue that VLC, the intro of BIM Africa, then links to this, all built in C# and then the IDE, which is called the integrated development environment. I use here is the Visual Studio. So it's basically trying to showcase the possibilities of an API. I also use the Revit API, and the Revit API. Let me quickly connect. Let me join this. So this is Revit API on the web. Here you could see information about what you could do with the out-of-the-box tools you are used to in Revit. These tools you know in Revit. So the Revit API gives you extra functionalities. You can maybe customize and make them work better for you. So that's the back end for this. Now, this other one, I built another one for BIM data. So, for example, this model has information about let's say structural model, column, foundation, beams, walls, and the likes. So I'm just trying to showcase the possibility of databases with this. So now, the database management system here I used here is SQL, which is the SQL query language, and this is it here. Is the SQL platform. This here is built. This one was built by Microsoft. This is called Microsoft SQL Server, SQL Server Management Studio. So you could host your database and your data on this database using the database engine and the likes. So I think, all right. So now I could create a new database. You could see here. Let me come here. Sorry. And come here. It shows I created a database for BIM Africa, but has no data in it. And now I want to create a table that will contain all the information about this model. I want to save it on the cloud. So I could do that by just creating, okay, I want a table with the name BIM Africa underscore model data. Model underscore data. So all right. So now when I click create new SQL table, it automatically creates the table with this name. So if I go back to this SQL server and refresh in real time, now I have this BIM Africa and related previous ones. BIM Africa model data, yeah. So this, if I'm to visualize the table, the one I'm just trying to do here is to send information about the model, all the elements in that model, into the database to save it or possibly to manipulate data. So and also to visualize it. So I have unique IDs, I have element ID, I have the name, I have the category of the elements, the mark comment. So that's what I just created now. So if I want to export all the data from Revit now database, in just a click, model data successfully updated. So if I come here now, go back, if I come back to this, it's empty. And now once I click on refresh, refresh it. Okay. It's still further. Refresh it, something with all the information, all the data. So not just that, we can also visualize data here in Revit with this plugin. You just if you click on this show model data, brings in all the data here into this view. Just taking a bit of time to do that. Let me do that again. BIM Africa data, create SQL table, created, exports, show model data. Yeah, exactly. Data, showing all the data here. Every data that would be or is in this model, every structural element, all the information, all the elements there are populated into this. And in case you want to make changes, whatever, and update it. So the goal of this is to actually show many of these tools that we use casually, basically. The out-of-the-box tools are cool, they're awesome, they're wonderful, but we could also do more with many of these, with plugins, with extending or by extending them. So with this, I could actually send this information, and I could send it to someone else just with my login credential to visualize it, whatever kind of data it is that they need, whatever that kind of data they want to change, want to update, you just click on it and update everything. So now let me go back to my slide and get this. Yeah. I think. All right, so can start bring and sending in questions if you have questions. So also before now I had created a plugin for engineers, structural engineers that want to make their work faster, that wants to improve on their modeling and their documentation in Revit. if they don't want to spend too much time doing things manually. I built a plugin called Construct, and I released it 16th of December last year, and that's 2022. I released it so that, and I released it for free, so that we could all push the needle in Africa. And then to download this plugin, you could just visit my website, www.kehindeayobade.com. Just a quick showcase of what the plugin can do. Won't spend too much time on this. Let me just play this. Here's the plugin here. It does a lot of things for structural engineers. It automatically creates elevation for beams, columns, and the likes. So many things. You just try it out. There are YouTube tutorials on my webpage. When you check the webpage, you'll see everything that you need about it. So now, in conclusion, before we take in questions, I would like to say that the BIM world, the BIM space is evolving, seriously evolving. Technology is evolving, so BIM will also evolve as technology evolves. So much is will be very, very possible with the advent of AI related tools. We all know the trends now in the industry, in the world, how AI is taking the stage, how responsive chatbots are taking the stage. So it's our responsibility as professionals and applicants to jump on these trends as they come. So because if we delay or snooze on them, deploying these new technologies, these new and upcoming trends would mean not deploying them will mean delaying our growth across Africa. So technology will always get better, but the catch here should be that we are growing, we are learning, we are improving to extend our capabilities and what we can do with our profession, especially with BIM. Okay, so without so much how do I put it? I think I'm done with this presentation today. So if you have any questions, please start dropping it. We have 10 minutes left on the clock. And if you want to contact me, you could contact me via my mail here, see on the screen, or my contact. Also, and check me out on LinkedIn. Communicate with me on LinkedIn. Thanks. If you have questions, please let them follow. So if you have questions, you could unmute yourself and ask your question. Are there questions at all? If you have any questions regarding our discussion today, please unmute yourself. Okay. Only saying thank you for the teaching. My pleasure. Or you could drop them on the chat if you're not confident to speak. But it's nothing. You could just unmute yourself and ask.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for the session. I must say the session is a very insightful one. Thank you. I've been interested in the whole lot of this, and I have seen different learning paths, and I want to adopt some of them. But one of the issues I'm having currently is how much knowledge do I have to have in programming before I can start implementing the whole of this. So it has been an issue generally. Like I don't know what level do I have to know C# before I'll be able to write a plugin, or to what level do I have to know Python before I'll be able to implement it in the. So these has been a major issue I've been facing. Is there anything I can do to that, sir?
All right. I think I also had that fear. I'll call it fear because I didn't know how to start the whole journey. So the thing is, this programming languages actually know how to learn. There's a pattern to learn them, and there are actually platforms to learn them quickly. So for you don't really need to know many of these things quickly. all at once. You don't need to know them all at once. So let me quickly share my screen. I shared a learning resource online. So this particular resource has modules that teaches the basics, the rudiments of, for example, C#. And it is very easy to learn, and it doesn't take you up to a month to learn it. You can see the modules there, very, and you have platforms. You have like modules here where you could actually test your codes. You type in the codes, whatever you learn, you try it out yourself. So basically, you don't need to learn. You don't need to know everything all at once. It's all about taking that big step and saying, okay, let me start. Let me just learn what I could learn from this and move on to the next big thing, which is the, for example, if it's plugins you want to create, we just move to it. There are platforms, for example, there are resources online by Autodesk. My first Revit plugin, if you look at it, it teaches you from step after you've learned the programming language, it teaches you step by step how you could start the journey. See you have the lessons you have lessons here. You have codes that it will give you sample codes on how to. So in summary, it is not about how much of time you spend learning. You just need to start and utilize resources that are available online. These resources that will actually take you to that destination you want, which is actually developing stuff, developing plugins. So you don't need to just waste too much time learning, thinking that you've not mastered it. Learn what, for example, that from that platform, and come to a platform like this where you can actually start deploying what you've learned. So I think I've answered the question. It's just about taking that step, double step, learning it, and looking for resources that will take you to the next big thing. Thank you. Is there any other question?
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. Any other question, please?
Okay, hi, thank you very much, sir. Good evening. That was a very interesting section, and I am really enlightened. I would like to ask, you spoke about Construct plugin, spoke very briefly about it. I would like to know, is it okay if we had a link to your website in the chat box for easy access? Could you share it there, please? Is that okay?
If you see my screen here, this is the website where you could download it from. Comes in all the available versions for Revit 2020 up to 2023, and you have tutorial videos on how you could utilize the tools for yourself, for your work, the structural engineer, and also for architects. Yes, I think some of the tools that are very useful for architects also. When you click on any of them, you'll see the tutorial and how you could use them. If you go to my YouTube channel also, you'll see a list of this tutorial highlighted for you to learn from. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. Any other question, please?
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I've already asked in the comment section that if you can get the PDF combination of the teachings for today, so that for a review at our leisure time, a proper understanding, sir.
All right, I'll do that. And I think I'll communicate with BIM Africa. I'll send them the resources so that they can send to your mail. I think since you registered, they have access to sending mails to you. So they will send the resource to you so that you can get them and use them.
All right, sir.
Also, I'll also attach links to other platforms where you could learn better stuff about what we discussed today.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. That's better, sir. We appreciate, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you for your time, sir.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, please. Thanks for the teaching. I would like to ask, how is there any way we can join the platform, the BIM Africa
or to be part of the community to also develop and learn?
I think BIM Africa will be able to answer that question. But yes, there is. I think from this plugin I created, there's this what do I call it? You could visit their website to join to be a member. I think they have a membership portal where you could join. If you don't have an account, you can log in and register. Create an account, join them. You have your membership ID and the likes. I think that's how to go about it. I think if there's any other answer, a better answer to that, I think BIM Africa will communicate with you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question, please? Is there any question? All right. Okay. Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Please.
just wanted to reply to that. That's the approach to registering. You can register, and yes, we'll try to pass across the presentation slides as soon as we have them. So I want to say thank you to our presenter, everybody, and we'd like to invite everyone to try the Revit plugin, such a fantastic one. Ensure to visit his website and check the capabilities you can do with that. So thank you very much, Kehinde, and thank you for attending the session too. We look forward to seeing you all in Morocco. Bye.
All right, take care. Bye, everyone.
Thank you very much. Bye, everyone.
Thank you very much. Bye.